Can milk do? Oh, yeah. Oh. Wow. Yes, please. Maybe the better question is, what can't milk do?
Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 1 and we are going to present about managing risk in milk-based products. Basically, there is 5 types of risk, which is price and market risk, production risk, institutional risk, human and personal risk, and financial risk, which is going to be presented by my other teammates.
Okay, for price and market risk, what price and market risk that we can identify from milk-based industry by the increasing of feed price effects, increasing land lease prices, interest rate, recessions, and the fluctuation of price trends on the world agricultural markets will also heavily affected our risk, our milk and based industry, and also loss of capital due to investor withdraw share from our business. As for analyzing the probability and severity of the problems, increasing feed price is a severe problem, but the probability of its happening is very probably not that much, while for fluctuation of price trends on the world agricultural markets is a critical one also. It's also probably happen. Loss of capital due to investor withdraw share is a critical problem, yet it remotely happen. It's probably the least one to happen if we maintain our quality. Okay, on how decision making and solving problem and risk mitigations of increasing feed price. The level is high, but we can control it by having alternative feed from plant waste and acting it as a core product from the original feeds. Moreover, the fluctuation of price trends on the world agricultural market, the level is moderate. We can accept it by tolerating the risk because the fluctuations of shares and price trends is uncontrollable. Lastly, loss of capital due to investor that withdraw share. The levels is high. It's kind of critical, but the action we can control it by ensuring the quality of product is in optimal level so that the product profit obtained can increase the stock price in market and increase also the investor profit in the milk-based industry.
Following are the list of risks that may happen in production line of milk industry. So the first one is on the health of livestock that may affect the quality of the milk. Second one is on the contamination towards the pasteurized milk. In terms of physical production risk, it can be listed as below, such as breakdown of equipment or machinery and also accident towards manpower during production activity. After the production risks have been identified, next we need to analyze the probability and also severity of the problems. The next biological production risk is on the contamination towards pasteurized milk. So the level of this risk is quite moderate. So we accept this risk by implementing some mitigation measure, which is to cool the milk at 4 degrees Celsius to maintain the quality of the milk. Alright, and then is on the breakdown of equipment and machinery under physical production risk. The level is quite high, so the action that we take is we want to control the risk by doing the regular inspection in all machinery. And last but not least is on the physical production risk, which is accident towards manpower during the production activity. So the level of the risk is quite moderate, so we choose to control the risk by incorporate safety and wellness plan, conduct pre-employment screenings, educate employees, research safety vulnerabilities, provide protection equipment. So, the decision made on the mitigation measure just now have a result in several values. For example, it can ensure the quality of the milk is at the highest, hence will increase the net profit by meeting the customer need and demand. And also, it can prevent the company loss or extreme costs in unnecessary maintenance, such as the frequent equipment breakdown and also disease and livestock.
Next, the risk that will affect the meat production industry is the institutional risk. Institutional risk actually caused by the government or organization that associate with meat production, such as FDA. The first risk that caused by institutional risk is increasing in taxes, such as the sugar tax that being applied in Malaysia for drink and beverage industry, and also the goods and service tax. The second one is security of traditional society, which the society or neighborhood community are changed in behavior toward milk consumption. This will lead to low consumption and also low profit. The third one is the conflict in union or organization, and also the lack of active risk management in cooperative, which can cause misagreement between the producer. This eventually will affect the input and also the material supplies. Then, the probability of the risk being analysis, which the increases in taxes and security of traditional society will cause critical severity because they can give huge impact to the meat production, while conflict in union and lack of active management in cooperative only cause marginal severity. Further, the probability for the risk to happen is occasional for taxes and also the cooperative management, but probably happen for security of traditional society and also the union conflict. And for mitigation, the increasing in taxes, we can accept the risk by preparing a product that not require a large amount of taxes. And for security of traditional society, we can control the risk by applying an exposure of the product benefit before being implemented to the society. For the conflict in union group, we can avoid the risk by discussing the solution to overcome the conflict of the union. For the lack of active risk management in cooperative, we can control the risk by providing input and service to cooperative for them to offer a risk management solution.
Hello everyone, I'm Tong Shihui. I'm going to talk about human and personal risks in milk-based products. First of all, what are the human and personal risks? First, illness or death and the personal situation of the farm family. Second, labor migration away from rural areas. Third, lack of people management skills. And lastly, it will be the poor communication. How do we analyze the probability and severity of the problems? For the illness of death and the personal situation of the farm family, it will be critical and probable. For the labor migration away from the rural areas, it will be critical and occasional, while for the lack of people management skills, it will be critical and occasional, and lastly, the poor communication, it will be marginal and occasional. When it comes to the decision making in solving problem and risk mitigation, for the illness or death and the personal situation of the farm family, this risk is high and the farmer should accept the risk. The farmers should always review wills, trusts, and powers of attorney, and they might consider health and life insurance needs. While for the labor migration away from the rural areas, this risk is high and they should also accept the risk. The farmers should always do labor planning, such as using a seasonal labor calendar. While for the lack of people management skills, this risk is high as well, and the farmers should always control the risk. They should always provide adequate training for employees and formalize the programs. Lastly, for the poor communication, this risk is moderate and they should control the risk. The farmers should develop good human resource management. What are the values of decision made? For the good human resource management, when we view it positively, it increases labor productivity and reduces labor problems. While for the negative aspects, it may involve additional labor costs and it requires more managerial time. While for the labor planning, if we view it positively, it protects against changes in labor availability, and if we view it negatively, it may involve additional labor costs.
That happen in financial is a interest rate risk, which is interest rate is the amount of charge on the loan by the lender to a borrower for the value of asset. That will happen in interest rate risk is a credit risk. Credit risk happen when there is increase in interest rate. So it will lead to more expenses for a company since they have to pay more interest to a lender. This results to an increase in credit risk. Mitigation for credit risk is by doing a forward rate agreement. So this agreement is where a company will do an agreement with a lender in where they will fix the interest rate. So if there's increase in interest rate, they don't need to pay the increase. For example, is the interest rate 50% and then there's increase in interest rate for about 80%. They don't have to pay for 80%. They have just to pay for 50% only because they have fixed the interest rate. Positive effect of forward rate agreement is they can avoid from paying the increase in interest rate, but the negative effect, if there is a decrease in interest rate, for example interest rate was decreased from 50% to 30%, they still have to pay 50% of interest rate because they have fixed the interest rate.